In this video, we're talking all about foundation stitches, how to do them. I'll show you a quick tutorial on how to do single crochet, half double, double, and even treble crochet foundation stitches, and why you would want to use them over a regular foundation chain. So first, let's talk about why you would want to use this. This little swatch is made with a regular chain. I chained 8 and then worked 7 stitches across, and this is just 2 rows of single crochet on top. So this is nice, don't get me wrong, like this is going to do the job, but a problem that people have is that they'll make their chain very tight and then their tension will naturally loosen as they go up. So you'll end up with your piece being kind of like a little wonky down at the bottom. Or you could have the opposite problem. You could do a really loose chain and then you'll have your stitches kind of tighten as you go up. It's kind of hard to get chains to be a consistent tension. And then if you were working this edge like a blanket, working into this chain is kind of awkward, and it tends to leave like really gappy spaces if you're only working into the one loop rather than the back bump. It just leaves not as clean of an edge. So then if you look at this swatch, which is exactly the same number of stitches, except I did the foundation single crochet stitch on the bottom. Now you've got like a much cleaner edge. You can see this is the top where you have the V's of your stitches, and this is the bottom. You have the same V's. So in a sense, this is a little bit reversible. And if you were going to work a border, now you have a really nice border to work into. You can work under these V's just like regular stitches. And it's much easier to keep your tension consistent along this so that you don't end up with a piece going out or going in too far. So that's why you would want to use this, but also it takes all of that annoying pressure out of creating very long chains, like if you're starting a blanket or a sweater. You can immediately work the first row and not have to worry about twisting your chain or double count. I mean, it's much easier to count your stitches like this than it is to count chains. So let's dive into how we can do this. So for the swatches I showed you, I'm using a 4-weight acrylic yarn. I believe it is Red Heart Super Saver Ombre, and I used a 5.25 millimeter hook, but for the tutorial, I'm going to go a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. This is a 6.5 millimeter. So we're going to start with a slip knot, and we're going to chain 2. Okay, so you don't want to have your tension be too loose with these chains, but the more you do this, the easier it'll be to get down. So now that you've got your 2 chains, you're going to go back into this very first chain, and I usually just work under this back loop. You can work under both. I just find it's a little easier to work under one. So you're going to insert your hook into the back loop of that first chain, and then you'll yarn over, pull through, and now normally you would yarn over and pull through to complete your single crochet, but what you're going to do to create the foundation is you're going to work the chain first. So you'll yarn over and then pull through the first loop only to make the chain. And this is the chain that we're going to be working into as we continue, so I'll show you that in a second, but you'll yarn over to complete your single crochet and pull through. So this is the top of your work, essentially this part is what you're looking at. So then to continue, we're going to work into, you'll kind of rotate, so you're looking at the bottom. You're going to work into that chain that you just created. Here's the back loop of that chain, and then this is the front loop over here of that chain. So you'll work under both loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then create your chain, and then finish your single crochet. And then to do this, you'll repeat that process until you have as many chains as you need. Keep in mind, if you're following a pattern that says, say, chain 101, Usually that last stitch is going to be your like bump up to the next row. So make sure you read the pattern carefully, because if you're doing it this way, you would really only need to make like 100 of these. And then you would just chain one and turn like normal. So we'll make a quick little swatch here. Okay. So you should have something kind of like this. And then to continue, you would just chain one and turn, and then work into these stitches as normal. Three and four. And you might be wondering about this little tail that's kind of hanging off here, but actually as your tension evens out, this kind of tucks in. And if you like, you can always undo your slip knot here and tighten it up a little bit at the end. So that's how you do the foundation single crochet. Let me show you how to do the half double, double, and treble crochet. It's actually the exact same process, but with just a few extra steps. To make the foundation half double crochet, here is our little swatch example here. Basically the same. You've got the stitches. This is the top of it with the V's, and this is the bottom, so it's kind of mirrored. So we are going to chain two. We'll yarn over first, insert into that back loop of the first chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, and just like before, instead of yarning over and pulling through all three to complete our half double crochet, we're going to yarn over, pull through the first loop only to make a chain, then we'll finish our half double crochet. And then it's the same exact process. We'll yarn over, go into that chain that we created, yarn over, pull up a loop, create the chain, and pull through to finish our half double crochet. All right, so that is how you do the foundation half double crochet. Let me show you how to do the double crochet. To do the foundation double crochet, this time we're going to chain three. Now we're going to yarn over. We're still going to work into that first loop, so the back loop of the first chain. Insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, create the chain, and then you'll complete your double crochet as normal, pulling through two and then pulling through two. And then the same process, yarn over, go into that chain that you created, create your chain, and finish your double crochet. And you would keep going. This is kind of what it would look like if you made several rows of double crochet. This is 2 rows of double crochet on top of the foundation one. Here's the top, and there is the bottom. Okay, so for the treble crochet, we are going to chain 4 to get the correct height. We're going to yarn over twice, go into that first chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, create a chain, and then we'll finish our treble crochet by pulling through 2, pulling through 2, oops, my yarn splitting, and pulling through 2 again. Then we'll yarn over twice, go into that chain we created, pull up a loop, create the chain, and then finish our treble crochet. And this is what it looks like worked up for a couple of rows. So you see this is the bottom, this is the top. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions about creating foundation stitches, or if you want to experiment, there's all sorts of interesting ways you can play with this kind of stitch. Go ahead and leave a comment. I'd love if you'd leave a like or subscribe to my channel. It really helps me create more content like this. And I'll see you in the next one.